And welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Board Game Snobs.
I won't start.
This is your host, Gaby.
No.
With me today as well is Jerry.
I'm not here. Do it yourself.
And, well, that's fine. Today we're going to talk about Skyrise, which I didn't play.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jerry loved it.
Sounds like you're in a pickle.
Okay. Pickleball. I'm going to pick that game up soon. Coming on future news segments. Gaby's pickleball journey.
You know how I feel about when people call stuff a journey.
Yeah.
I would comment on it if we would start this podcast. I'm saving it.
It's already started.
No.
Cold open.
No.
Freezing open.
Say go.
Freezing.
Say go.
You know, there was a time when I used to start stuff too.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
All right, well,
actually, I started it.
I have a trivia question for you.
Go ahead.
What is the oldest board game?
Go.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
And welcome to the Board Game Snob podcast. This is Jerry, the star of the show.
This is Gaby.
Enrique's not here. So, Gaby.
Hello.
Since we have gotten back from BGG Spring, what do you miss the most?
Games and not having to work.
Specifically, I miss Chad and Tim and all the friends I made. The interpersonal connections.
Is that what you miss?
Yes, what I miss.
That's what you miss the most.
That's what I miss the most. I'm not so...
Me too.
Yeah, you can't steal mine.
Hashtag me too.
No, you can't steal mine. Can't steal mine. You're all about the superficial. I'm all about the deep connections I made with Tom and Roy and Chad
Oh my God.
and Ben and all the new friends I made.
I don't know who Ben is. Ben was the fellow you...
Yeah, late night, we played the Climbers.
After me. I was a early to bed guy at this BGG.
You were gone.
Because I was staying with my brother-in-law. Because I was ill and because of my
Barry.
Big heart.
Were you staying with Barry?
My enlarged heart.
Oh.
No, Blake.
God.
Barry, new Patreon. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate that very much.
Thanks, Barry.
Barry wrote a nice long email to us as well.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Barry keeps writing. Do we need to read his email?
You should.
I'll read his email.
So anyway,
I'll pull up the email.
Before Jerry discusses Skyrise, let me talk about Shadows over Camelot real quick while you pull up Barry's email. Shadows over Camelot is the classic, if not one of the first, if not the first social deduction game because it contains this possible hidden trader element. We played a full allotment of 7, and I think you have 8 cards out of those 7. No, we were not at a full allotment. We were at 1 less than the full. I think it plays up to 7. We were at 6. We played this whole game, and I played with Joffrey. Jerry was not there. I played with Joffrey and his friend John, and his other friend Luke Lightbringer, and Caitlin, of course, Joffrey's fiancée. They're getting married. Congratulations. January 4th, I believe, is their wedding. And they invited us. Very kind of them.
All are invited. If you're listeners,
all are invited. All the board game snobadillos.
They wouldn't mind.
And so we're playing this game. I know I'm forgetting someone, but there was another lady there. I'm not familiar with her.
I know how you feel about women.
And right beside me, who was tomorrow? Oh, Bruno played this with me. Bruno hated this game immediately.
Nice. Man after my own heart.
2 rounds in, he looks at me. He's like, this is no good.
With his French-Canadian accent.
So I can see, Shadows Ever Camelot. I think this is like a 2000.
Camelot.
It's a 2005 game?
Old.
It's old.
It's old.
I can look it up on BGG instantly. 2005.
DiCaprio wouldn't date her.
Yeah, it goes 3 to 7. Oh, that's correct. Bruno Cathala, Serge Lagette. Maybe that's why Bruno wanted to play it.
Serge.
Another Bruno and possibly French.
Serge. I
guess you could be from somewhere else.
That was my favorite
Serge.
drink that they tried to bring in to replace Mountain Dew was Serge back in the 90s.
Artist Cyril Dolgin. Yeah. Days of Wonder. Anyway, this is a quote-unquote classic game. It's old, and it feels very old. In our game, Joffrey was just trying to spice it up some.
Oh.
Because he was acting suspicious for absolutely no reason at all. He was even waggling his eyebrows like, oh, why did I do that? So in this game, you're limited to like...
their eyebrows.
Like this.
Oh. Up and down.
Yeah,
that's weird. Can you raise one eyebrow?
Like Groucho Marx. Oh.
Can you raise this one eyebrow?
Oh.
Can you do the other one?
Can I smell what the rock is cooking?
I can't do the other one.
I can do this one.
I can't do the other one.
Spock. Logical. Fascinating.
I don't like that.
So this game, to cut to the short of it, do not like it. Maybe if it was 4 or 5 rounds, it went on way too long for what this is. All the actions you do add to the potential danger that you're facing. You draw a card. If you add a card to here and you're not able to fight that card, it can trigger bad things. Or you can add trebuchets surrounding the castle. And maybe those are the 2 things you can do. Or you can take a life from your own die, from your own character. You can take a life, basically taking one for the team that prevents any damage or potential harmful things from coming out. Oh, there's also cards you lay down for these raiders that are coming. It just is not good anymore. It's an old game. Things have advanced far beyond Shadows over Camelot, especially at 7 players or 6 players. The one good thing that people like about this game is that whether you're playing 3 or 7, the game plays exactly the same way. I could die. No one would know I'm gone because the turns are the exact same.
I thought you just went into a tangent there for a second. I was like, what?
I mean, I'm not having an existential crisis.
Nobody would care.
I'm talking about in the land of Camelot, in which there are shadows over. And I asked, where do these shadows come from? Is it just cloudy?
Well, they're all. Where is Sir Gaby? No, that wouldn't be your knight name. Circumference. I had that one in the barrel. Okay. Well, okay. So you hate Camelot.
I gave Camelot, I give it like a 3 out of 10.
Every time you say Camelot, I think of that opening musical number from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. When they're like, we're not going to Camelot. That's such a silly place. And then they do a little musical number of their dancing. That's a great one. We got an email from Richard Simmons. Raymond Simmons. I'm sorry. Maybe it's
Richard Simpson.
Simmons. I thought it was Raymond Simmons. It's not
Richard Simmons.
Not Richard
you
Simmons.
You were talking about the lose weight guy.
Yeah, the leotard dude with
R.I.P.
the afro. He's not dead.
No.
He is not dead.
No, he's not.
You said R.I.P.
I know.
I used to love it when he come on David Letterman.
He was, my mother loved Richard Simmons.
Yes. He always dressed very,
he was outlandish.
He was outlandish.
He was outlandish with his big curly hair. But he is apparently like one of the nicest people that have ever existed on this planet.
And the thing is, Richard Simmons is one of the people that the 80s and 90s, he was all a thing. If he didn't come along to the 2000s, he would have still been a success just on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
He would have blown up. If TikTok was a lot, that's what we need. That's $1 million idea.
He was very nice, very kind, very friendly. He struggled with the weight. The struggle was real with him. He lost weight. He's just a good person.
And then he went to show everybody else how to do it.
And I'm endeared to Richard. Well, maybe that's why I like many Richards.
Well, his brother Raymond Simmons, I don't know if that's really his brother, sent us an email saying, thank you. Here, tell me what you think about this. This is about how, and I like who's doing this, Grail Games is working on the new edition of Barony.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The 2015 game Barony, which will feature new art and include the 2016 expansion Sorcery, with a crowdfunding campaign scheduled for mid-2024.
I like Barony because it's a straightforward area control game. We do not have the expansion that adds the sorcery or whatever. I don't like fantasy. I don't like fantasy in my games. I want to keep it real. As far as my wooden knight battling other wooden knights, as real as that can be.
Mm-hmm. How much wood would a knight battle if a wood knight couldn't battle wood?
So I'm not interested in messing it up with that type of stuff. I like my battles to be straightforward in Barony.
They're straightforward.
But I'm glad to hear from Mr. Simmons again, because he was one of our early on, and he was also a disagreeable nerd emailer.
Is he?
And I wondered if we would hear from him again. And alas, here he is. Another one that we haven't heard from in a while is Max.
Another one.
Star Wars Max.
And he just sent an email to remind us that he's still alive. Now, Max also sent me a game of his that he designed that I lost and then found. Let's see here. Let's skip the email from Barry. Return of the Patreon Knight Star Wars Max. So Maximilian is also a great Star Wars fan. Like, he understands the deep lore of it. And often when we talk about Star Wars, he sends me an email correcting everything I've said, which is what we like about him. That's what we appreciate about you. Let's see. It's been a year.
Welcome back, Max.
He says, see, I have been away a year and a half because I got a new real job. American Red Cross. He does blood collection for the American Red Cross. And completely stopped listening to all...
By force or consent?
It's whatever. I call it aggressive
blood harvesting.
Me and Enrique come up with a new term, aggressive acquiescence. Yeah,
I'm here for your blood.
I'm a blood harvester. That's a great title. Max, please make a name tag. You're the Max Blood Harvester. That sounds like the new Mad Max. Max Blood Harvester.
Cornfields full of people.
Bone collector.
That's dark.
Yeah.
That's like dystopian future novel type stuff.
People with O negative blood, they're after him. One of the last things I did before disappearing in a new job, though, was to sign up with your Patreon as a Night Jedi. Good
I remember Max because he's the last person to comment on our Podbean, the Podbean specific site.
He says the only other people he listens to is Cardboard Edison, and I've listened to them in the past, if I'm not mistaken. Cardboard Edison.
I assume they're related to Thomas.
No, it was
no relation.
No. Although he did invent it. He says, I still share a life path with Gaby. Same hair and body image problems. Startlingly similar preferences in film, TV, fiction, and board games. More or less, if Gaby likes it, it's a good bet I will. I even drive a truck now from time to time, though it's actually an ARC ProMaster. Those are those nice fans, like a van. He's checking in. He hates that. So good for him. Good for him. I asked him what gauge is he using to draw that blood.
12.
14. Oh, I get your joke.
Pump action.
Pump action. No. So do we have to read? Yes, we have to read Barry. I'll read Barry.
Brother-in-law. And he discovered our show.
He didn't discover it.
We've been in here recording when he
learned of it.
But he legitimately enjoys it.
I don't think he does.
He does.
All
he
right.
was kind of like excited to see me last time.
Because he wasn't.
Yes.
No, he 100%.
Was not. I'm like, Barry, I'm still same old Gaby. You don't have to treat me different now.
He wasn't excited to see
He was.
Does he do any board gaming at all?
Yes.
With you?
We play, his wife is the one that's, we played Alhambra, we played Ticket to Ride, kind of the introductory.
Yeah.
When he married her is kind of when we were starting off.
Oh.
And she was into it. And she bought a couple of games, but then they didn't really game as much. But yes, they enjoy gaming when they come down. And he keeps telling me one of these days he's going to come down specifically to play some good games that we talk about. Because he says, now when I hear y'all talk about these games, I want to play them.
Oh, well, good.
But usually the issue is when they come down, because they're family, the rest of Gina's family is often down.
Oh, for
and so it's either play a party game, or usually we just sit around a bonfire and
they all come in here and start vacuuming while we try to.
Well, not here. They usually go out to the mother-in-law's home place.
I'll read Barry's long-winded email.
Read Barry's email.
Dear Snobs, as a recent BGS convert, I must express my surprise at the vehement attack against my character as a gay.
Vehement.
I said vehement.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know that either. But when I said it, I just buzzed through it. Thank you for pointing it out. Vermin. Vermin's everywhere. As a gamer and a banker. Is Barry a banker? Does he work at a bank?
He works for a bank.
Oh.
He works for City Financial.
So, you're kidding me.
No, he's like a data analyst for City Financial.
One of the few businesses I've lost money of in the stock market. He works for Citibank.
Yeah.
I won't make that joke. Another reason not to like Barry. And while I may not know a rondelle from a Moncala, I bet Jerry couldn't tell a hedgehog fund from a private equality investment. Well, Barry, let me tell you something. I used to do options back in the day. That's how wild I was. I've done futures. I've done crypto. I have lost money in literally everything. I have $2 million worth of Iraqi money stuck under my bed. All right, let's see.
Quick question.
Yes.
Due to my ignorance in all of those things, I saw he put hedgehog fund. Was that a typo? Or is that a real thing?
He's trying to be funny. It's hedge fund.
Okay.
That's Barry.
Because I looked up hedgehog, and apparently there is a real business that is like hedgehog funds, and they deal with hedge funding.
I bet there is a company, but he was making a joke that you didn't get. That's fine. In fact, our recent unscheduled stopover at Gaby's has revealed not a weakness in my character as a gamer, but rather a significant gaming control oversight wherein 6 or more person games are involved. Our desire for a fun evening of intellectual and social stimulation was met with an empty game larder, leaving thy gaming appetite a bit peckish.
Although Path to Civilization or Seven Wonders, now that I think about those would be decent games to play at that count.
If you hadn't knocked them at the last episode. Yeah. And why the conundrum? Well, of course, Jerry had hoarded from the BGS gaming library all the best 6+ player games. Perhaps if he had invested his hospice earnings in actual playable games instead of squandering it on fancy miniatures.
On crypto, apparently.
And endless
and Iraqi money.
This could have all been avoided. Hey, listen.
What do they call Iraqi money? Is that should I even be saying that?
I'm sure it's called something. Lira? No, that's not right. That's Carmen San Diego.
That's what I do out of the side of my eyes to you.
All right.
Lira
that said, despite Jerry's vitriol for me, I had such a good time listening to Gaby's puns, I'm tempted to become a BGS patron member.
I like the one I just did, Lira at you. That was a big one.
All right, so I wrote him back. Dear Barry, I am taking time out of my busy schedule wherein I assist the most vulnerable in our population
to die.
To write to you regarding...
You're Dr. Kevorkian, basically.
I do not assist them to die.
You ease their path to...
No, I don't.
The great beyond.
No, that's not... You don't know anything. To write to you regarding my recent comments on my wildly successful podcast.
Should I do less fiend or more fiend?
As the most discriminating of our group, it falls on my shoulders to separate the wheat from the chaff of our board game collection. Thus, most of the quality games in the BGS library are mine. I typically leave the more mundane and prosaic... That is not false. And prosaic types of games, i.e. party games, to Gaby to curate. Any lack of quality regarding the selection available to you during your interlude at the Moraga residence was no doubt a result of either poor planning on Gaby's part or a direct side effect of your lackadaisical nature and not comprehending the nuances required to host a snob-level game night.
It was not poor planning on my part because I had it all planned.
And then he showed up.
Here come a wrench.
And then Barry the wrench. Wrench Barry. For example, I've just been petitioned to host a game night for another large, diverse group next month. My reputation for entertaining large crowds, hungry for a quality gaming experience, is well known in southeastern Oklahoma.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Can't wait for part 2. Go ahead.
If you ever... What? Oh, yeah. If you ever desire to experience such an event, as, quite frankly, anyone would, I see only 3 options. Option 1, be invited to such an event, which the guest list is typically course d'elite. Your nonchalant attitude towards gaming in general will make obtaining such an invite difficult. Best of luck to you. Second option, join our max tier level of our Patreon, which essentially is a significant bribe for us to spend our precious time to game with you. Option 3, continue with your current course of action, which includes showing up unannounced at the BGS headquarters in hopes that I am present and have time to initiate the board gaming experience you desire. Rest assured, my vitriol was directed equally towards Gaby and yourself. His half-baked ideas of us purchasing twice the party games and wasting twice of our shelf space for no other reason than to fix a minor problem brought on by the lack of planning befuddles me. Good to hear that you're enjoying the podcast, your friend and gaming mentor.
Called yourself a friend.
Yes. And then he responded back, best email I've received all year, which indicates to me that Barry doesn't get any emails.
Well, not personal, probably.
He probably doesn't get personal emails.
They're all business related.
He didn't send another email. It was just like, AI is watching. And apparently Barry has no friends and he talks to Chat GPT.
Chad GPT.
Well, he talked to Chat this time. Chat GPT. And he asked who the board game snobs are, and it goes on and talks about it. But then he asked this Chat GTP, who is Enrique? Its response was, Enrique is a recurring guest and sometimes co-host of the Board Game Snobs podcast. He is known for his unique and humorous contributions to the discussion.
That would be true.
Adding another layer of entertainment. Enrique's personality and perspectives often...
Or, I think Enrique also, if we has discovered, adds a layer of hostility.
His presence is a notable aspect, I like it said aspect, of the show's charm, endearing him to the podcast audience.
Aspects come from Uranus. Gaia. Go ahead.
That was it. So that's done with the emails. We read
that. What we could, yeah.
Barry's.
I'm glad we got caught up from a few old friends, old listeners that I thought perhaps we'd lost along the way.
All right, Dick
But
Simmons.
I'm glad they're still there.
Barry.
And a new one. My
I've
brother-in-law.
never gamed
Barry.
with Barry. Ever.
He's a. You know what's funny
He
is
looks like a nerd.
Well, I mean, okay, so like Chad, we've talked about how Chad is like this smart guy. He's got like a super smart job. He's like this software programmer or something, blah blah blah. Jerry is this. Barry is this. Jerry and Barry. Barry is this data analyst for Citibank. He's a smart guy. Does that always relay into common sense?
No.
So Barry will sometimes make silly decisions during a game that don't make any sense.
Yeah, I think of 2008 housing crisis. Go ahead.
But anyway, but yeah, his wife actually is the better gamer of the two.
Really?
Yeah, she has that mind that just like focus in on, I'm doing this and this and this.
Like Whoa Betty.
Also, real quick, before we continue on to, well, no, we said we were going to do Skyrise, and here we are 20 minutes into it. So go ahead with Skyrise.
I'd like to talk about Skyrise.
Go ahead.
The new Roxy
Although I wasn't involved. So.
release that came out, kickstarted. I got the deluxe edition. I played said edition with Tim and Whoa Betty.
Betsy.
I say Whoa Betsy because she's always reading the rules and then saying whoa and making correct, which after my own heart, correcting people. It's a very simple game. It's a very beautiful game. I'm just not sure about the decisions in this game. The actual mechanism was described very well by Joffrey, who after we had just played this game, I went out bowling with Joffrey, and Joffrey says, I enjoy the fact that you don't bid on the spot that you want. You bid and then you hope the daisy chain to the spot that you want to pick up. That sounds like a fine mechanic because in this game you have buildings and on the other side of them they have numbers from like 1 to 100 and something. And everybody else has different numbered buildings, so nobody has the same bid. So when I put my little sky out here on this one spot, my building with my bid, somebody else has to bid not on that spot, but onto a spot next to that with a higher number. And that continues on in daisy chain, so to speak, until somebody finally puts out a bid that nobody wants to beat. And then they flip their little tower over and that becomes their spot.
Pause. I know you use this term, but at one point in time I didn't know it. Describe daisy chain.
I think daisy chain. As I said that, I thought you were going to ask me to describe what that is. Isn't that not where you just, when I say that might be just a Southern expression that might mean it and doesn't mean anything. But daisy chain is just where you just, things follow along.
It's almost like a domino effect or a linking.
Yeah. And it's kind of just lackadaisical. When I say daisy chain, that's what I mean. It's like some things are just following along, but it's not in a straight path. It's just whatever.
Oh, well, no, that's not what it means to me, because when actually I have a speaker. And in the instruction, I don't think it is a Southern term because I have a HK-Onyx speaker, and you can buy. It's a Bluetooth.
Maybe the Koreans who made that speaker know it.
I can play it by itself, or it will say in the instructions you can daisy chain it. So if you buy multiple of the same speaker by themselves, you can link them together.
In electrical and electronic engineering, a daisy chain is a wiring scheme in which multiple devices are wired together in a sequence or a ring. Similar to a garland of daisy flowers.
Okay, that makes sense. I wondered where the term came from. So just like people used to, make the flower necklaces or something together.
Mm-hmm.
So when you daisy chain, and these Bluetooth speakers now daisy chain together and they connect.
It also has a
boy,
kind of different connotation too that I don't think I can say on this podcast.
Is that from like the Urban Dictionary?
No, it's from dictionary.com.
Oh boy. So we shouldn't use the term daisy chain repeatedly?
Just the slang. So that's what it means. The mechanism of the game is you're just making bids in a sequence. And then there's an area control for each little island. There's like these 4 big islands and one in the middle. And the various victory point things that you have are either secret objectives of having so many of your buildings in a spot or next to each other or whatnot. It's to me, it's just very simple. There's no game to it. I don't feel like I was playing a game because even though Joffrey was right, you don't bid on the spot that you want. You bid on where you think the bidding's going to end. There's no way to tell where the bidding's going to end because I might put my building here thinking, okay, I'll let Tim bid and Betsy bid and Enrique bids, and then I'll bid on this other spot. The 5th spot's the one I want.
I feel like you need to clear your throat.
But instead of going this way, Tim goes this way, and now I'm over here, and I end up like, I don't even want this.
So you did. Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
So it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no concrete. I'm making a move. Here's my complaint about this game.
Okay.
I'm making a definitive decision to do something, right? I'm putting a worker down. I'm bidding on this thing. That's what I'm going to do. So this game is essentially going, what do you want? And I go, I want that spot right there. And
Spot A.
I bid this much. And then they go, congratulations, you won this thing over here.
Spot Z.
Then I didn't make a decision.
Why did you win that?
Because of the mechanism I just described.
The daisy chaining, which we shouldn't say.
Which it ends up getting bid by other people because you're not bidding on this spot.
I don't like that.
I don't like it at all.
I don't like it even from your description.
No, I don't like it at all. It is a beautiful game. It is well done. It is very simple to learn. It's very simple to play. But the thing that I got so frustrated about there are tons of bidding games out there that are really good. There are tons of games that are very similar to this that do the same thing much easier and much cheaper. This game's production is incredible.
That's okay. So I had written down in my notes, table presence means nothing.
Well, this game is nothing but table presence.
Because this is one of those games where it has these, and I guess in this Kickstarter edition, who knows what's in the regular edition? No doubt, I'm guessing the buildings themselves,
right.
like a 3D little miniature
Right.
building.
Yeah.
So that's super cool.
Right.
Looks really cool on the board. The game is garbage.
Yeah.
So I hate that.
I do too.
Because people actually, though, from what I gather on Instagram and all these other things, people include table presence as part of their score. No, if a game sucks, I don't care how fantastic. I could be literally building on the buildings. I mean, that's a ridiculous thing. I mean, they're beautiful. The 3D Minties.
You're thinking of Mentos, the fresh
The fresh maker.
What is it? But what are they singing? I don't know the lyrics to it.
I don't know.
It's just people in the background going, Mentos fresh.
Basically, it's like you can get away with like crazy stuff as long as you're chewing on some Mentos.
I'm looking at the Mento lyrics. Go ahead.
So I hate when people post, this game has a beautiful table. I don't care. Is it any good? Because the game can be absolutely beautiful. It can be a work of literal art on your table, painted, beautiful colors, minis, but the mechanism of the game is absolute garbage. Therefore, I do not want to play this. So I just have a box full of junk.
Right. But not with Mentos. The intro is, you are correct. Do-wah.
Yeah.
You nailed it. And then the verse, I forgot this. It doesn't matter what comes. Fresh goes better in life. That doesn't mean anything. Okay, I'll do the verse and then we'll go
Fresh
back.
does, I mean, you know.
Okay,
like,
it doesn't matter what comes. Fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. And then this is the part where they get really high pitched. The chorus. Fresh goes is fresh goes better. Mentos freshness full of life. Fresh gets
Mentos.
better with Mentos fresh and full of life. And that high pitch.
Mentos.
The fresh maker.
The fresh maker.
Okay, let me just break this down for you. First off, the fact that sticks in your head. Like, okay, first the intro. The do. They just went, okay, we just got to intro something. We just do somebody do. Wow. It doesn't matter what comes. Okay. So this is a very.
So it's like, no matter what I'm fixing to face.
Fresh goes better.
Probably poor phrasing in these times
Yes.
we live in, but I want to say, no matter what I'm about to face,
Fresh goes better in life.
it's better to be fresh, like having showered, having a renewed zeal towards what you're fixing to
But
face.
that line gets me. Fresh goes better in life. But here's the thing. It doesn't really make that much sense, but it does. You understand.
Right.
Okay.
Fresh goes better.
With-
better than stank, rotten, or old.
With Mentos fresh and full of life.
So it's like my breath could be old and stanky, but I pop a Mentos in there. Suddenly I have this zest I didn't have for life.
Nothing.
Not just breath. Oh, this is telling you not just your breath, life.
Nothing gets to you.
Nothing. You can say whatever you got to say about me. I'm chewing the Mentos, bruh.
Staying fresh, staying cool. Staying fresh and staying cool.
I actually love both of those
Are
things.
you getting fresh with me? Yes, Mentos.
Because my wife says I need the 3 C's: cool, comfort, and clean to be happy. Mentos is providing clean, freshness,
coolness if it's
and
mint.
Cool because of the mint. I'm just missing
and
comfort.
Calm. The comfort. It should comfort you.
Comfort.
That's what we have in the South. We don't have comfort. We have comfort. You should just eat Mentos. Stop taking your Cymbalta.
I need to stop No, I'm taking Wellbutrin XL. Actually, I stopped.
Oh, yeah?
I stopped it.
That's not wise. You just stopped taking it?
I stopped it. I'm only 2 weeks in.
No, you have to taper off.
I did not taper off, and it did not affect me.
Okay.
I do not recommend this because doctors don't.
Okay.
But it didn't affect me. And I will tell you, I meant to discuss this with you at BGG, but I didn't. I didn't want to, it just wasn't a thing. After we ate lunch with Bruno, my heart rate was 130.
That's a lot.
We were doing nothing.
Yeah.
But eating. My heart rate was well over 90 plus, mostly between 1 and 120. I'm freaking out because I now have this watch that tells me, "Hey, your heart rate."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm freaking out, and I didn't tell you any of this. You're hearing this just now.
Looking at your watch, I mentioned
because my heart. Did you notice?
Yes, I said that to you. You're always messing with your watch. I don't like those.
It shows my heart rate.
Yeah.
So at the con,
is it really your heart rate? Can you feel? I mean,
yes.
Okay.
So at the con, after we ate lunch, is when we were playing Rex.
Mm-hmm.
My heart rate was 100 to 120, and it was slowly going down a little bit, but it took forever for it to drop below 100.
Yeah, which is not good.
I go home. No, I didn't go home. I was searching it at my brother-in-law's where I was sleeping at night. I'm like, I'm freaking out. Why is my heart rate so high?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I hate Reddit, but also love Reddit. Because people get on there and they post real stuff, like stuff that if you look up side effects of Wellbutrin, like heart rate's not one of them that pops up. But on Reddit, like everyone on there was like, my heart rate is super, like 20 more beats per minute than it normally is.
Right.
And this one guy was like, I'm at 90 plus. And he says, if I even like get up and walk around, I'm over 100.
Okay.
On Wellbutrin.
Okay.
As soon as I stop taking it, within a couple of days, it drops back down.
Mm-hmm. So you're burning calories. That's all I'm hearing. You weren't anxious and you're burning calories.
Well, but it was freaking me out. And of course, some of them were like, well, yeah, if within the first couple of weeks, it can do that, but your body adjusts. I did not like that. I don't like feeling my heart pounding in my chest at that speed. It was freaking me out.
Exercise. It's free exercise.
During Rex, no one said nothing to me, so apparently I hid it, but I was freaking out the entire time during Rex. And you may have seen me doing this frequently, looking at my wristwatch, because my heart rate was at 120. And I was sitting there for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think you should have a heart rate of 120.
But you're getting good cardio in. My point is.
I mean, sure. I guess I lost a couple of pounds. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not seeing the problem. But I understand I could see that. That's kind of
being facetious.
I am being facetious. I'm being fresh. You know who else is fresh?
I mean, as soon as I got home, I'm in the 80s again. You know, I could just like put this in on YouTube. Put it right up to the microphone. You're going to do it. Mentos, the fresh maker. That guy's voice is like Mentos, the fresh maker.
Now, why did? Well, see, that's a nice contrast because you had all the tenors there, all the fresh, those guys, you know. They're waiting for something to drop. And then finally you get this other guy over there from Mentos. The good contrast there.
The fresh maker.
Yeah, you should probably talk to your physician about that. And was that helping you with the anxiety?
I was only on it for 2 weeks.
No. What caused you to go get it 2 weeks ago?
I did not go get it 2 weeks ago. So I got Wellbutrin like probably a year ago.
So what made you start taking it 2 weeks ago?
I was freaking out at work, and I told my wife, I said,
I can't stand Barry.
Barry had nothing to do with it.
Oh.
It was a Monday morning. I was going back to my job, and I said, I have this. It was the deepest sense of dread I had in my chest I've had in a long time.
Because of your job.
Because of my job.
Yeah, your job's nothing. Like you're not.
And Gina says,
yeah, that's weird.
You need to take medicine.
Yeah, that's nothing weird.
But that's what she said. She said, that's not normal.
No.
Like, you're answering phones. Okay, you might deal with some idiots. Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
Your reaction to this is not normal. You need outside help.
Right.
So I've had Wellbutrin sitting on the shelf because the first couple of times I took it, it was kind of giving me a headache.
Mm-hmm.
But like many of these medications, if you just keep taking them, apparently that goes away.
Eventually.
So apparently my fast heart rate might even go away.
Mm-hmm.
But it was freaking me out with my heart. I don't like messing around with my heart.
Right.
I'm already a large, morbidly obese man.
Yeah.
It doesn't need any more pressure and it's already enduring.
Yeah.
So I was like, no. So I need something else. Next time I go to my physician, my PC, not personal computer, my primary physician.
WebMD.
Oh, wait. No, that's not right either. Yeah. Primary.
It's PCP.
PCP.
You gotta go see my PP.
My PCP? Is that?
Yes. Primary care physicians, PCP.
Okay. So next time I go back to her, she got to give me something else. She got to give me something. Okay. Is there like a baseline, like what's the oldest, most trusted not depressant. I'm not depressed. I mean, I get sad sometimes, but mine is anxiety.
Xanax.
Can I just say, can I have some Xanax?
Yeah.
Why don't they just give that? Why are they always trying, like they try everything else?
Because you might be depressed. It might not be anxiety.
But I generally feel okay. It's my thing is anxiety.
Okay.
With mainly job.
Okay. Well then, yeah, you need to describe effectively what it is.
I thought I had.
Well,
She's
no.
like, yeah, you got anxiety. First, she tried me on Effexor.
Mm-hmm.
That made my eyes big. I would sit in there, my wife would be looking at me. She's like, you're just like staring at me with you, and your eyes are like extra large. Yes, I was like zombieing out.
I'm sorry.
That's what she said.
You made your eyes.
She did, because I wasn't taking it. And Gina said, I'd just be staring at her with these big eyes. She's like, babe, why are you looking at me that way?
Fun fact, your eyes are the one thing that doesn't grow on your body. You're born. That's why babies, you're born. Your eyes are the same because your eyes are part of your brain. You're born. Your eyes are the same size as when you were born as you are when an adult.
So I started off in effects where they made my eyes big. And then I heard good things about Wellbutrin. And I thought, all right, put me on some Wellbutrin. And apparently it makes my heart race. I'm not a fan of that. So I know there's a buttload of them and they come out with something new every day, but give me the old, just like birth control.
Well, that's not a good example.
Give me the OG.
No, the OG's pig intestines. Okay. That's what the Egyptians were using. But I'm talking like Xanax mainly would be like something for.
Give me some Xanax then.
Sorry. Nat.
Natty Huffman.
But we're not giving,
I'm talking about me specifically.
Yeah.
You do you.
Right. Don't stop taking your medicine too.
I was only 2 weeks into it.
That's not good.
I know you're supposed to taper off, blah, 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 but I didn't want my heart exploding.
But also not taking a medicine for a year that was prescribed to you.
Yeah.
Just saying, you don't have a
little cayenne pepper will just fix you up. Be all right.
No, you don't have a good history of taking medical advice.
That's true. I'm very stubborn. And I prefer homeopathic stuff, holistic stuff.
Such as?
I don't know. What's good for anxiety? You know what they tell? L-theanine and magnesium glycinate. No. Yeah, glycinate.
Uh-huh.
There's 3 or 4 different magnesiums. L-theanine didn't do jack crap for me. The magnesium does help my heart rate because I mean, being fat, I already kind of had an elevated heart rate.
Yeah.
For me, I was in the 90s. And when I took magnesium glycinate, we went off tangent here. Anyway, so I truly believe because here's something. Many years ago, I went to the doctor. He's like, oh, you're, what's the fat stuff? Cholesterol.
Adipose tissue.
No, the cholesterol high. Your cholesterol's high. I'm going to put you on a statin. I read about statins. I don't want to be on a statin.
All right.
I started taking red yeast rice. This is not a medical podcast. Do not do any of these decisions. I'm just telling you what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I took red yeast rice and my stuff dropped 50 points.
All right.
I go back to him. He's like, oh, my statin's working good. No, I wasn't taking your statin. I was taking red yeast rice.
Mm.
I did not tell him that though, because I have read and heard the medical community does not look kindly upon the holistic community.
Well, they don't look kindly upon certain things of it. Yeah, but go ahead.
So, but I believe firmly in there are natural things you can take that can fix your issues in this regard, especially of cardiovascular issues, your cholesterol, cleaning things, just like milk thistles. That's like really helps with the liver. I need that. And there's many things you can do to help your body naturally, as opposed to taking these drugs that have these horrendous side effects like statins do.
Do you know what statins are made out of?
Red yeast rice.
Exactly.
Right. But the red yeast rice, for whatever reason, does not have the detrimental effects to the degree that rosuvastatin does.
There's a reason why it's banned. Either way, there's some holistic stuff that works, but what are you doing holistically for your anxiety?
Now that's what I'm saying. Nothing.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
I tried the L-theanine and the magnesium, and it really didn't do much.
Well, first off, I would offer this brilliant insight into your situation, which it sounds like what you're describing, and I'm not a psychiatrist, but if we have any, please send us an email at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. You're having like a neurosis, right? Like you're a neurotic person.
That's what my wife has self-analyzed me at.
Okay, well, what causes neurosis, you think?
I don't know. I haven't looked that up.
Okay, it's the inability to fulfill an adult expectation, basically. Like you are not acting. One of two things: either I believe the current understanding of it, what causes neurosis, is that you are living in a way that you deep down feel like you shouldn't, or you're living in a way because you can't. It's like there's very few people that fall in that other category where you are naturally this type of person. You don't. I'll just use this, and this is not necessarily the easiest way of looking at it, but you're an introverted person, but you're forced to be extroverted because you have an extroverted job. You work in sales or something.
Exactly 100% what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, that's not necessarily what the cause of it is, but it's something along that lines, because naturally you have to be able to interact with people and do other things. So it's not like this thing of it's don't fall into the trap of thinking that it's because I can't have every single preference, then thus I develop a neurosis.
No, I've had, just basis on the definition of neurosis that my wife looked up, and she's like, no, you were neurotic before this job where you were a truck driver and didn't have to deal with anyone ever at all. Now I'm dealing with people and having to deal with conflict and tell them no when they want a yes and blah, blah, blah. And it's just really affected me.
Right. So you were this way previously, but rather it's you are not fulfilling a potential. That's where the vast majority of neuroses, I believe, comes from. So for instance, you feel like I'm trying to think of another good example that would be used in this way. You have an emotional issue or something of that nature that you're not addressing, or you have a bad habit that you know you need to fix, but you don't take care of it. You're well aware what you need to change, and you don't change it. And when you eventually don't change it, by having that knowledge, that psyche causes you to have a neurosis. That makes sense. So it's like you knowingly know what you need to fix, but you don't fix it. Not only do you suffer the consequences of not fixing it, you then suffer on a mental state of having a neurosis. If I'm not
mistaken. Almost like a guilt.
Yes, that's a good way of thinking about it. It's a deep-seated, but rather than feeling guilty, because that's the typical thing, but rather it's more of you have this weird, it manifests in weird ways, such as people having phobias, or, you end up opening the refrigerator 6 or 7 times to make sure the cat's not in the refrigerator. Or you accidentally shut the cat in the refrigerator, or you're constantly, like, you've noticed, like, everywhere I walk into a room, I lock the door. Like, if I close the door, I'm trying to lock it. It's like a thing I have to fight against me, because it's like this thing of, like, it's like a habit. But rather than that habit, their neuroses are much more detrimental, because it's a feeling that comes to you that I cannot do this thing or not do this thing, or I have this certain feeling for no other reason that's completely illogical. Like, you're worried about answering the phone. Your job is literally just sitting and answering the phone. And I would remind you that previously, when you were a truck driver, all you wanted to do was stay home and wish you had a stay-at-home job. And now that you have that, it's...
The grass is always greener, Jerry.
Well, no, but that grass is only greener thing that's a terrible saying, because the grass is not always greener. The grass is greener where you water it. And so whatever you're focused on, whatever you're trying to improve upon, that's really where it's better at.
Well, that's where it's actually better at.
Yes. Which is reality. And when you deny reality, you develop
deny reality.
You develop neurosis.
Therefore,
there you go.
I am what I am, is what Popeye once said.
Yes, he did. He was a man of great neurosis.
Yeah, he's all about spinach.
Yes, because he actually thought that by eating a can of spinach, he instantly somehow gained both bravery and strength. And that's what Popeye should teach you. Popeye taught a generation of kids to try to eat spinach. But Popeye was PTSD messed up for his time in the Navy.
Of course.
Because he would just open this can. I mean, if you were somewhere...
He's walking around with a can opener, opening cans of spinach and eating it.
Do you know how crazy it would be if somebody is like trying to...
I do that with beans now.
Trying to road rage you or something, and you get out, walk to your car, open a can of spinach, and just drink it, and then all of a sudden you just have amazing...
Have I got something for you?
Got +5 pugilistic skills, and you're just whipping everybody. It's like, no, the power comes from within. The spinach was just...
cruciferous vegetables.
Yes, it was a mental block for Popeye. That's the thing. He did not need the spinach.
Spinach also good for blood flow.
It does. Yeah, you can't eat green leafy vegetables like that if you're taking blood thinners. Spinach is great.
My mother couldn't take any when she was taking warfarin
or Coumadin, rat poison.
Coumadin.
That's what that is. Legitly, we used to give that to pigs.
That's crazy.
Kill wild hogs. Used to bleed them out that way there in Texas. It's weird.
Which one's the name brand?
I think warfarin's the name brand. Coumadin is the chemical name.
And they have much better stuff these days, apparently.
I wish we could get... If we keep talking about drugs and science stuff, eventually Pfizer or somebody's going to...
Pfizer sponsor us. I could use $1 million.
All you vaccinated?
I wouldn't have to answer the phones anymore.
Yes.
That would be wonderful.
If we could just get sponsored by like a drug company.
Pfizer, join our Patreon.
Do you know...
Be a top tier level.
Yes. Do you know the people who listen to this podcast? Do you think all board gamers are in good health? Do you think they're out there exercising?
No.
They need statins.
By no means. They need statins. They need...
release our own line of board game snobs supplements.
That's what Dr. Berg does on YouTube.
That's what they all do. Oh, yeah. Don't talk to me about
Dr. Huberman.
Oh.
Although he's been outed here lately as possibly being somewhat aggressive.
Please.
Yeah.
You see the size of that guy?
Believe it or not.
If I can't fit my hands around your neck, you're probably aggressive. That guy has... Yeah.
Who knew that all YouTubers were not good people?
Well,
Allegedly. Dr. Huberman.
I'm a good person.
You still got some good stuff that you're saying. Just maybe practice it in your own personal life. That's what we do here at the Board Game Snobs.
Yeah. We give out free advice.
We give out free advice. Am I practicing it? Probably not.
We need to do a call-in show. Have many people call in.
Yeah.
I had this great idea. I'm glad you brought this up. Are you done whining about your own problems and all that stuff and your anxiety?
I brought it up briefly and then it kind of went into that. I don't know how. Just go ahead.
Well, it's because what you do. You dump.
I don't know how you put it on me. You start asking me questions and then I answer them. That's what happens.
I know that's what happens. We'll talk off air about your complete lack of respect for the healthcare community.
No, I just decided to stop it without doctor direction.
But I have an idea.
Reddit told me it was fun.
Okay. We need to do
No,
it.
sorry, I mean Quora.
Quora. Oh, okay. Thank God.
The wannabe Reddit.
Quora Quest. It is. It's just Dan Hughes' daughter while they're giving hints. Stop those statins. We need to do another call-in episode because we promised it, number one.
Well, you don't want to just deal them out willy-nilly because then it's just like, oh, everybody's on the show.
I like
it needs to be something to be aspired to.
I want to deal them out willy-nilly, which you're sidetracking me because...
All right, go ahead. Well, your good idea.
Willy-nilly is an English slang idiom for an action or event that is disorganized or unplanned.
Oh, that would be.
Where did Willy Nilly come from? What is the origin of Willy Nilly?
Who knows?
Was there a guy?
My name's Nilly, Willie Nilly, and I don't plan anything. I'm off the cuff kind of guy. He just like shoots you.
Oh. The earliest ancestor of Willy Nilly in Old English is Sam we willin', Sam we nillin', which means Old English, whether we wish to or whether we wish not.
That's somebody retroactively making this thing real.
No.
Sir Swillin, Sir Nillin.
No. It's Old English. It is Old English. The root is in Old English. It's just one of those Cockney terms, willy nilly. Anyways, I think so. You got me. You recommended like a comedy podcast one time, which was absolutely awful because you didn't tell me it was improv, and improv is the absolute worst thing ever. But
tell that to Comedy Bang Bang, one of the most successful podcasts, longest running there is.
They have the longest running podcast that I can listen to and never even smile or chuckle or laugh. Either way, Kill Tony, which you've not heard of, I can tell by your expression, which happens to actually be the most popular podcast in terms of comedy, is where they just bring people. What?
No.
You don't think so?
Never heard of Kill Tony.
You never have?
I've never heard of Kill Tony.
Really?
No.
You've never heard of Kill Tony?
I've never heard of Kill Tony. Browse.
Go ahead and look it up.
Let's see. Top shows. Let me go categories. Comedy. Joe Rogan for some reason. Wiser Than Me. Julia Louis. Smartless, number 3. Okay, there's Kill Tony, number 4. I've never looked at it before you said those words.
I know, but that's
right after Theo.
It is the number 1 live podcast in the world, by the way. And so, just FYI, there's no need to...
From Austin.
Yeah.
Or at least that episode was.
So, what they do is that they just have a bucket. They just pull names out. People come on. They have 1 minute where they could do stand-up. So, they just have rando people coming up there. Some of them are amazing, some of them not. I think we need to have an episode where we just invite people, to call in. They got 1 minute to roast us, to be funny, to do whatever.
I'm not doing a roast.
Why not? Because you can't handle it?
No, I don't like roasts.
You don't like roasts?
They're mean.
I can tell by looking at you. You like roast. Yes, they're not mean. Roasts are hilarious. We're always roasting Enrique.
You roast Enrique.
You roast Enrique all the time.
I roast no one.
You're terrible at roast.
I spread peace and love.
No, you don't. That's why you have so much anxiety. You're denying your real reality and your real self.
Denying my roast.
There you go. We need to have a Kill Jerry. We have to have an episode. People just call in and just do whatever.
Okay. I mean,
but
that's fine.
Way we need to do a call-in episode.
Okay, well, you pick a time. Here's the thing. We record this sporadically.
Okay, listen, nobody wants to hear how you're not going to be able to do this. We can do it.
No, it's not me. It's you.
I know, but nobody needs to hear about it.
Okay. All right.
Just do it. That's what they do. It.
Okay, Shia.
Do it. That's what I say. Barry wants to come on.
I bet he does.
We're not having Barry on.
All right. Well,
ever. We're never having Barry on.
That's a essential element.
Barry?
No, boron.
He is a boron. That was a great joke. See, that's the type of quality roast we could be getting in on.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode.
He might not be that bad. He's a Patreon member now.
Until
we appreciate that.
That always gives you a +2 in likability for the BGS podcast.
Every time I meet somebody at a convention, like, are you a Patreon member? And I think,
are you a Patreon? Oh, well, you were like, I didn't really care for you, but I like you a little bit more. Little bit more.
What tier are you?
Yeah.
If the ship was sinking, that's who we'd pick. Anyways, Skyrise sucks. And,
one we did not discuss, and we still probably won't discuss because I think we're done with the BGG Spring episode discussion. White Castle.
we are not done.
Evan. No,
We
we're
are
not. Well,
done
okay, we
with
got to
it.
do Den of Hughes. No,
Den of Hughes. Den of Hughes. Wouldn't that be terrible?
I was thinking of Evan Hughes, who responded to our Spotify.
Den of Hughes. I'm not paying those prices. It's just a place wherever you go, you just got Dan
You
following
refused to pay.
refusing to pay. We can't pay this.
So
That's a terrible Dan
that
Hughes
was
impression.
really bad.
How would you do a Dan Hughes impression?
I'm Dan Hughes.
Hello, Gaby. What?
You idiot.
What?
Idiot.
What? I just always say, that's all I ever hear. That's all I ever hear when I turn this radically ball. What? Oh, my dad. What?
Evan, stop listening to the board game Snobs.
Cora,
What's on the sporadically board?
get back there. Make it more. That's not how Dad sounds. But
No,
that's
it's
how he
not.
sounds in my mind.
Right. That's the over, like the caricature version.
The caricature.
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 Carrot couture. So like you could design a bunch of things around carrots.
Like a carrot.
Like a
curvy
carrot dress.
A curvy carrot. I don't know why you're laughing at this. This is not funny. But you busted yourself up with caricature.
Like a dress made of carrots. Okay. That's going to do it for this episode. We are done. This started off with purpose and discussion and went random into anxiety and then
Yeah,
carrots.
Stop
we're done.
taking. You either take the carrot or the stick.
Until next time, I'm Gaby.
This is Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.